All right, this is Unit 1, Formula 2, Day 5, variables on both sides, okay? Now this one we're going to have some of the same answers, but we got two more that come up. The first one is identity, okay? Make sure you get this down, okay? This will come up. Identity is when our x's and y's go away or they cancel each other out, and we're left with like 4 equals 4, a true statement, okay? All right. Remember, the x's go away. Now, the next one is a no solution. And that's when the x's or the variable goes away, and then the statement doesn't make sense. Like 3 equals negative 2. Okay, it's a false statement. Okay, that's when we're going to have a no solution. Okay, but be careful. As long as you have an x, say if I have x equals 0, that is a solution. Okay, my x is still there. Okay, I still have an x. These only work when there's no variable. Okay, so x equals 0 is a solution. Okay. All right, let's try some. All right, so if 3n minus 5 equals 7n plus 11. Okay, I always move my smaller number over. Okay, so I always start with variables. So I have 3n and 7n. Well, 3n is smaller, so I'm going to move this 3n over to the other side. And one of the tricks, or one of the things you have to remember with equations, is when something crosses the equal sign, it changes signs. Okay, so I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to move it over. So if I don't want it on the left side, I'm going to do an inverse operation. So right now it's a plus 3n. So I'm going to subtract 3n. Okay, those cancel, and I bring down my negative 5. Don't forget the sign. Okay, if it's plus, bring down. You don't have to bring it down because it'd be a plus 5 if you want. That's fine. But if it's a minus, you need to make sure you bring it down as a negative. Equals 7n minus 3n is 4n plus 11. Okay, now I have a two-step equation. I have a multiplication problem and I have addition problem. And I want to get rid of the addition first, so I'm going to do the opposite. Okay, that cancels, so I have my 4n equals, now here I have a negative 5 and a negative 11. So you owe $5 and you owe $11, which means I owe 16. Divide by 4, and n equals negative 4. So negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. Now you notice my variable stayed on the same side. I didn't move it from one side to the other. It's a good habit to get into. Always leave things where they are. All right, next one. Okay, same thing. Okay, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, now you notice I have a negative n and a negative n. Okay, they're the same. So I'll show you this is a little, if you recognize this, so there's a trick to this. But it doesn't matter which one I'm going to move. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one over here. So right now it's a minus n. So I'm going to add n. Okay, those cancel. So I'm left with my 5 equals. Okay, now what's negative n plus n? So I owe $1 and I have $1. That ends up being 0. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my negative 24. Now, what happened to my variable? Okay, it disappeared. I don't have a variable. So right now I have negative 24 equals 5. And if you go back to the first slide, the first part of your notes, okay, whenever the variable goes away or cancels out, you're either going to have a true or false statement. This is a false statement, and the false statement gives you a no solution. All right, let's do it. Okay. On the next one, you have 2 sets of parentheses. So we need to distribute for both of them. So on the first one, I'm going to take 2 times x, and I get 2x. And then 2 times 6, and I get 12. Okay. And now remember on this one, when you have a negative outside the parentheses, it's actually a negative 1. So I'm going to distribute my negative 1. So negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And negative 1 times negative 36 is a positive 36. Remember, when you multiply by negative, it's going to change the signs. Okay. All right, now I'm going to move. Okay, so I have 2x and 4x, or negative 4x. Negative 4x is smaller, so I'm going to move my negative 4x to the left side by adding 4x. Okay, those go away. So I have 6x plus 12 equals 36. Okay. Now, remember here I have multiplication and addition. I'm going to get rid of the addition first, so I'm going to subtract 12. So I have 6x equals 24. Then divide by 6, and x equals 4. Okay, all right, next problem. All right, next problem. So now, again, we have parentheses, but we also over here have like terms. Okay, so we're going to do all that together. So 2.5 times 4, you can use your calculator on this, is going to be 10x. And then 2.5 times a negative 4 is negative 10. Okay. Now here I have 2 and a negative 12. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to do my 10x. Now what's 2 minus 12 is negative 10. All right. Now I'm going to move one of mine over. I'm going to take this one and move it over. So that's negative 10x, negative 10x. Okay, those cancel, but they cancel over here too. Okay, so I'm left with negative 10 equals negative 10. Don't forget to bring down the signs, okay? If it's a minus, it brings down as a negative. Okay. Now here, we talked about this. My x, or my variable, went away. Okay, this is a true statement. So this is an identity. Okay, identity. Last one. Let's get rid of our parentheses, okay? First step, always get rid of your parentheses. Now this 5g has nothing to do with the parentheses, so I'm going to bring it down. Okay, now I'm going to distribute. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. 4 times 3g is 12g equals 1 minus g. Okay, I still have like terms over here, so I'm going to combine my like terms. Don't move until you combine like terms. So I have 5g plus 12g is 17g. Minus 20 equals 1 minus g. Okay, now I'm going to take my smaller one. So this is 17 and this is a negative 1. So I'm going to take and move this one. So I'm going to add g. Add g. Okay, those cancel. I'm left with a 1. 17g plus 1g is 18g minus 20. All right, add 20. So we get 18g equals 21. And I'm going to divide by 18. Now remember, fractions are a little, you think you do something wrong, but a fraction is a number. Okay, so I end up with g equals, now 18 won't go into 21, but they can both be simplified by 3. So that would be 7 over 6. And that's my answer. Okay, that's as hard as they get. So hopefully rewind this if you need to look at them again. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.